We're on.
What's up, world? Transatlantic, well, holy shit, transatlantic MMA.
You just went full robot there, Mo.
I know. Do you want to take a crack at that again? Yeah.
Sure. Welcome to welcome to episode 4 of Transatlantic MMA. If you haven't been here before, good to have you. If you have, welcome back. We have so today's our first episode that includes a guest other than us, which is probably decent. Get some insight from a third party. So we have we'll get straight into it. We have waiting in the wings. We have one Danny Kennedy, who's the head coach of 10 Planet Dublin. I'm going to tag Danny straight into this meeting now. We'll get this episode underway. We're going to have a good chat with Danny, some 20 minutes, talk about what the state of jiu-jitsu in Ireland is at the minute, and then we'll get into some fight talk probably afterwards. So without further ado, bear with us. So any second now, we're going to be
there he is.
By Danny Kennedy. Danny, you're
on mute there again, Danny.
Look at technology, boys.
I know. I'll tell you what, Danny. Welcome. Good to chat to you, my friend. I was just saying, obviously, you're coach in 10 Planet Dublin, and unfortunately in lockdown like the rest of us in Ireland at the moment. So welcome to the podcast. Good to have you. Thank you for giving us the time and allowing us to have you on. And so what's the crack? How the hell are you?
Grand, bored, sick of the house. I get to get back on the mats again.
Yeah. Stuck.
How long have you been out for, Danny? Now, what is it? Pretty much since lockdown started, or did you get anything in after that?
No, so say Paddy's Day. I think we finished up the Saturday after Paddy's Day. So I've been off since. Yeah, it's bullshit. I hate it. Well, I mean, it has to be done. It's either that or kill your parents. So
I'll dive in here a little bit if I can. I'd like to rewind this a little bit. Dan, you've told me this before, and I remember it, but I'd love to kind of understand how you came to be involved with 10 Planet, and obviously heading up the gym in Dublin now. So how was your first kind of become involved, or even maybe before that, what was your first involvement with martial arts at all, and how did you kind of come to be in the position you're in now?
Well, I started training martial arts 20 years ago, actually. It was like 99, I think. So I was doing, it was like a traditional Japanese martial arts, with Jinkin Budo Taijutsu. They told us we were ninjas, but we were not ninjas. So that was like my intro. I spent about 5 years training that, and then took a few years off. And then I kind of got in. My brother had a CrossFit gym, and a buddy of ours started training there, Mike. So Mike was talking to me about, he was training with Ray Butcher out of Team Balance. So Mike was like, "Oh, you should come in. You used to do martial arts. You should come in and do some jiu-jitsu." I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool. I'll probably be pretty good because I've trained before." So I went in. They all fucked me up. The fucking 6-month white belts were tap dancing on me. I was like, "Oh, fuck." Okay, so I got to train.
Baptism of fire.
Yeah, that would be. I'm training like 7 years now, so that would have been 2013, sometime 2012, maybe.
Okay,
and then it was jiu-jitsu from there. Yeah, pretty much.
And then 10 Planet, I suppose. You kind of when was you have kind of, I guess, joined the program?
That was actually through my brother. So my brother Jody was we were all training. My brother Jody, myself, and then a friend of ours and our buddy Mike. We were all training in this place, Team Balance, Ray Butcher's place, and then we all kind of moved into George Santos in town. And then my brother got into 10 Planet, so he was like, "Oh, check this out! You seen this Eddie Bravo dude?" So it was through him really that I got involved in it,
Yeah.
And Jeremy was over. He came over to England for a seminar, and my brother and his buddy went over to that. And then they got in touch with Jeremy, stayed in touch with him, and then started bringing him over to Ireland for seminars from there.
Okay.
Just stayed in touch. And Jeremy's like,
So, couple of questions there for you, Danny. How did you get by being tap danced initially? You know, how did you keep interested? And who's better between you and your brother? That's the most important.
Like people beating you up, it's like that's how you know it's a good martial art. You know what I mean? So if you're walking in and people are able to handle you, everybody's able to handle you. You're like, okay, well, this shit actually works. So in a way, it's like, you know, it feels shit at the time, but at least, you know, if you put the effort in, then it's going to be worthwhile in the end, you know?
Yeah.
And as for my brother, honestly, he was always better than me, but his fucking body didn't hold up. So he had two like pretty severe knee injuries. So he had to drop out of jiu-jitsu. So he hasn't trained in like 3 years, 4 years or something like that. So,
Fuck yeah, that's a bad one. Having suffered a knee injury myself, I know the extent of the damage. But
Things are bad.
I mean, that makes him easier to beat now, though. I'd imagine.
I don't know. He's pretty fucking strong, honestly. He played rugby when he was young as well, so it's definitely an advantage.
It's an advantage having a male sibling. I think I wasn't blessed with a brother, so I'm a bit soft. But you have a couple, Neil, so you're certainly a bit.
I had two older brothers as well that used to be fair, I had a younger one, but my oldest brother is about 5'7", so he never really gave me too much shit because I was bigger than him at 15. And then my other brother, who's a little bit younger than him, the two of us used to clash. All right, that used to be a good bit of fun. Like, unfortunately, yeah, exactly. Good training. You know, fucking get you into the real world. You know.
Well, they say that about John Jones. Is he's got like older brothers that used to beat the shit out of him.
The two is Arthur and Chandler, is that right? Two monsters, and both in the NFL.
Yeah, they're both in the NFL. It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Danny, on training wise, obviously there's kind of a bit of a weird situation going on. If you weren't aware with the old coronavirus, how's I've heard, yeah, it's out there. What's the situation gym-wise like? Timelines? Do you have kind of any sort of an idea? Like, what are the reopening plans, or are there any?
I have no idea. Yeah, we're shut down, so we haven't trained since did I say that already? Paddy's Day. Like the Saturday after Paddy's Day that we shut down. So like I don't know,
7 weeks nearly.
6 weeks. Yeah, it's like the longest break I've had since I started training, but I can't imagine we'll be open, you know, June. So like maybe July, maybe August, maybe September, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's very hard to say, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel rusty? Like how often were you training? Was it an everyday type thing, or 4 or 5 times a week?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I was in the gym 6 days a week, so I would usually train. Like say I'm doing 2 days, so we've got like morning classes and lunchtime classes. So generally there's like either a morning and an evening, or a lunch and an evening in a day, you know. So I was generally doing 2 days, but I wouldn't roll hard in the early classes. So I generally do my rolling in the evenings. But normally I do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday hard, Thursday off, Friday, Saturday hard. And like, it's I'm probably going to be rusty as fuck by the time I get back, because I literally haven't done anything apart from like, you know, solo drills or like, you know, some sort of fucking workout shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be shit. Everyone's going to be shit.
Yeah. What's the lockdown life been like? What have you been up to keep yourself sane? Have you some decent hobbies you picked up outside of jiu-jitsu over the last couple of weeks?
Not really. No, it's all the same. Just I'm going in the gym every now and then, you know, on my own, obviously, and just doing some fucking workout stuff. But like, that's it. Walking the dog, and nothing else going on.
Passing the time, basically. Yeah. Well, at least we have some. Watch instructions. Is it?
Not much, barely.
Yeah.
Every now and then.
Yeah, because you
just feel sad when you like watch it on the telly and then you can't go and practice.
Do it. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Well, look at least we're gonna have some fights in just over a week's time, I think. Right, today is Friday now, right? So yes, we've 8 days. So at least we're gonna have some fights to discuss. So I wanted to ask you on a kind of from a grappling perspective. The stylistic matchup, I suppose, between Tony and Gaethje. I know Gaethje's formerly a kind of a defensive wrestler, not too much of a kind of a grappling element there, but Tony's a serious wrestler too. So to get your take on it. You're a better grappler than Neil and I combined. So how do you kind of see that, or are there any other fights on the card from a grappling perspective that really kind of jump off to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Tony's gonna elbows face off.
Not much grappling involved in
I
that.
would be surprised. Yeah, honestly, I would be surprised if it went to the ground. I think we'll probably see maybe one or two like kind of wrestling exchanges, but I'd be very surprised if it spent any amount of time on the ground, honestly, unless, I don't know. You never know with Tony. Like, he might just fucking wrestle the shit out of him, Well, honestly, I'm expecting a kind of more of a striking kickboxing match than wrestling, or grappling. Sorry, but you never know. Further down the card, I think the Olenek and Verdum match is going to be. It's either going to be an epic grappling fest, or else the two of them are going to decide that neither of them really want to go to the ground. So it's going to be a shy kickboxing match.
Yeah. Well, Olenek has definitely been quoted in interviews recently saying that he has every intention of bringing it to the ground, because although Verdum hasn't been great on the feet recently, he's still a black belt in Muay Thai. So, he's still got a significant advantage over Olenek in the striking department. So, but then again, I would say Olenek is probably the first man ever in MMA to say, I want to take Verdum down and grapple with him. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, what do you reckon if it does go to ground? Who you got, Danny?
Oh, Jesus. I couldn't pick. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, Olenek fucking, did you see that Ezekiel he locked up, where he locked up the Ezekiel and pulled the dude into mount, like pulled bottom mount to finish an Ezekiel? Yeah. You know what I mean? So, like, that shit's unbelievable. So, but Verdum's a fucking absolute monster on the ground as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, you couldn't call it. It's so close. Like, I kind of have a little bit more, Olenek's my boy, just because he's so crazy. Verdum was a fucking monster, so I don't know. It's too close for me to call anyway. I hope Olenek wins, but it could go either way, for sure.
Well, he's definitely, I mentioned earlier, I've been writing for Overtime Heroics, and I've just done the kind of prelim write-up, and that was just such an interesting matchup. And looking at Olenek's record, where he's got 50-odd submissions, like it's absolutely absurd. But Verdum has never been taken down. Verdum has never been submitted. But one of the most interesting things is Verdum is big favorite in that fight, and I think the odds of Olenek with a second round submission is something like plus 800 or something like that. I definitely think that's worth it. That's worth a tenner if ever I've seen one. Like this, if Olenek wins that fight, like it's going to be submission.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Like, I can't imagine a situation where he's, well, certainly not in the feet. Like, maybe he'll finish something with ground and pound, but I can't imagine him kickboxing his way to a finish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be like maybe strikes to set up a submission, or ground and pound would be the only way I could ever see him finish it with strikes.
Yeah. So
look at that's if you had a tenner you didn't want to see again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm absolutely putting money on that. And there's another one as well, Danny. It's the second fight of the night. It's Bryce Mitchell against DeRosa, and both. I mean, Mitchell's coming off that Twister win, which is only the second ever in UFC.
Oh yeah.
And DeRosa's he's I know he's a BJJ black belt, but he might be a second degree black belt as well. So like he's no joke. So that could be another contest that you'd probably be very interested in.
I'm not too familiar with DeRosa, honestly.
So and what about Mitchell? Did you
Mitchell's good. Yeah. He finished with a twister. I'm gonna pick him.
Yeah, Mitchell's favorite.
I don't know who the other dude is. So
DeRosa's fought some. I mean, he went 3 rounds with Yair Rodriguez, and that was I think that was a split decision that went in Rodriguez's favor. But he's also fought Kyle Bochniak. He's also fought another kind of top 10 contender. So Mitchell hasn't really got much under his belt in terms of, experienced fighters, whereas DeRosa has. So he's also very, very good on the ground. So I'm also interested in that one. So I definitely recommend you watch that one, Danny.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to watch the whole card.
Yeah. We've got
the only MMA going on.
Yeah. We've got a bit of
staying up for it, or are you going to watch it the following day?
I never stay up for it. I'm old.
I stay up for every card. I have it down to like a fine science. Get up at like 6 on Saturday, and go to sleep at like 5 p.m. Wake back up then at 8, and then stay up till 6, and then I have to get up at 11:30 on a Sunday to get back to bed Sunday night, so I can work then normal Monday through Friday. Yeah,
that's way too much effort.
I know. Yeah, years of perfected craft. That's
the system is I stay off the internet altogether.
Yeah,
and then I don't do anything illegal to find a stream of it at about 10 o'clock in the morning when I wake up.
Would you do the same for
that's where I need to get to. I need to progress and get to your stage.
Would you do well, Ben? You look older than Danny, so I reckon you're already there.
I got some miles on me. Danny's a professional athlete by all accounts. Nearly a professional coach, I'll say.
I wouldn't say it like that.
Badass with my fucking headset here at home making phone calls.
Good.
What was I going to say now, Danny? And what's the head count at 10 Planet right now?
Yeah, I mean, COVID drop off, So we were kind of sitting before this. We were sitting around 75 members, something around 75 members, and we've probably lost about 20 or 25 guys. Over that, which is like totally understandable. It's like it's just not sustainable for some people to kind of stick around at the moment, just because we don't have a fucking like a date to aim for. I think if we knew how long this was going to go on for, then it'd be easier for people to kind of make a decision long term. But I mean, it's a tough time for small business.
Yeah. And is that's 75 in Dublin, yeah? Or it was 75 at least?
It was, 75 in Dublin,
yeah. And what's you've been doing it for a while now, so like, how much have you seen it increase over the last couple of years? It's obviously, MMA is a very much a booming sport. So, is it drastically increased, or is it kind of slowly, gradually increased? Or?
I think slowly, like for us anyway, slowly. It's been a kind of a slow burn, a very slow build. So we've been open, let me think now, we're in the building. I think we're open like 3 years, so it's kind of a slow burn for us. But a lot of the guys that started out with us are still here with us, Yeah.
Mm.
So a lot of the early members are still there, which is kind of what you're aiming for, just trying to retain as many people as possible rather than grab like a fuckload of new people in,
Yeah. I was driving home cycling home from work. I don't know if I told you this now. And it's like where the gym is like 200 meters from where my house was, right? And I'm like a massive Eddie Bravo fan, jiu-jitsu.
Smoke me all day!
So I'm just flying home on the bike, and I'm like almost at the house, and I see this big fucking sign for 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu, and I was like, it says like next left. I was like, I nearly went straight into the wall. I was like, what? I was like, whoop, left straight, and I was like, what the hell's going on there? And I met Danny then for the first time. I was like, I'll be back next week. It was. I couldn't believe it. But I was like, just when you would relocate, Danny, right? Before you were You weren't too far away, but you kind of had to relocate.
Yeah, we were in Fairview, so it's only about 15 minutes up the road. But we moved.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We just shifted down to that location in North Strand. Just we kind of at the limit of what the space could take in there, you know.
Yeah.
And like it was a little bit, like it was fine. It was a great place to start out, you know. But just in terms of amenities, we had no bathroom or we had no running water or anything like that, you know.
Yeah.
So just when we wanted to kind of take it a bit more, like it was just a bit Mickey Mouse, you know. So at least we were then when we found that space, it's like a little bit closer to town. We had our like inside toilets. We were able to put the showers in, you know, running water, a little reception area, so and a bigger mat space as well. So it just kind of worked out well for us.
Yeah,
we were looking at it, you know.
Yeah. Well, hopefully now this fucking Corona bullshit isn't around for too much longer. We can get the damn doors wedged open soon and get people back grappling again.
I ordered a rake of new mats just before the coronavirus kicked off, you know, so they just arrived last week and I have not had a fucking roll on them. So we them out. They look amazing. It's real sexy, but I just haven't been able to even my wife won't roll them.
Actually, that's probably because you'd probably submit her fairly easily. You know what I mean? I don't think she's too much.
She's quite sturdy. She's a pincher.
They all do, Danny. They all do. And what's the obviously getting back to it? I would imagine I'm hoping you'd probably get a number of those kind of those members back. I would presume. One would hope at least. What's the kind of plan over the next couple of years? What are you trying to get to in terms of like growth and size?
Membership wise, 200 members, easy.
Over the next couple of years?
It's hard to put numbers on that stuff, So like we've got a morning class and a lunchtime class. So the plan is just to try and expand that stuff as much as we can. So like they're never going to be as busy as the evenings. But hopefully we can like build a bit of membership. The next thing then that we have on is to try to get we're looking at a ladies class, so twice a week, hopefully Tuesday and Thursday. We're trying to get some sort of girls class going, and then the kids program. And that's like if we can get through that stuff over the next kind of 2 years, that would take us to a nice position, I think.
Yeah,
nice. Well, best of luck with that.
Thank you. Very kind.
Absolutely. When I'm back in Dublin, I'm definitely going to pop in. I hope Ben is.
Mate.
What'd you say?
You won't be able for it.
Well,
you're right, Danny. He's
time will tell. Time will tell, Danny. Give me 6 months. I'll be choking you out.
Get in the hands up. You're pretty close.
I was hoping to bounce a couple of kind of grappling based MMA questions off you, Danny. I thought this question. I'm always kind of thinking these odd questions with MMA. Me and Neil are constantly talking about it. But from your perspective and your knowledge of the UFC champions currently, who's the best and worst grappler? Yeah, regardless of weight. Who in your opinion is probably the best? I suppose it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu, I guess. Just best grappler, and who would be the most suspect grappler, do you reckon? I haven't fully thought about this.
Out of the champions, like I suppose you got to take Khabib as like the best grappler out of the champions, So his whole game is basically just, like some striking on the feet and then straight to the fucking grappling and ground and pound.
Yeah.
Worst is tough, man. That's a hard one. Yeah, for sure. Heck, I don't know.
Is it Stipe, maybe?
I was going to say Stipe, but I'm kind of half thinking about one of the girls.
Yeah.
Like the women's champions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Wiley we haven't seen anything from her on the ground yet, have we?
Yeah, like she's definitely a better kickboxer, for sure.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like her takedown defense is pretty good, but like I don't think I've ever seen. I haven't followed much of her like career before the UFC, but Like, I don't think I've ever seen her finish a submission. Or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's true.
like,
No,
takes
Not that I
I
could.
haven't seen Stipe finish many submissions either, and Cormier
Yeah.
made a bit
no,
of
but he
And
was a wrestler.
yeah, true,
You know.
true.
yeah, it was Stipe's. It was more. I was thinking more in the sense of, Stipe doesn't wrestle probably as much as he should inside the octagon. You would imagine, because he's got such a good wrestling background, and I think in terms of submissions, yeah, he's not really, particularly not in the last. His run in winning the belt was just knocking people out cold. So, probably just haven't seen it as much. But
He's got good defensive wrestling, though.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's hard to take him down. So I understand he doesn't. He's kind of like Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell never wrestled. He was always a kickboxer, but like nobody was taking him. His wrestling was always about like getting back to his feet or like stuffing takedowns and then striking. I think Stipe is kind of the same.
It's actually it's a very good kind of an analogy. The two of them are very similar in style.
But
I think
Stipe's not kicking much, but
I think Stipe's definitely got the better and cleaner boxing of the two, though. Liddell.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Liddell he could be sloppy at times. But here's one for you, Danny. Right? So obviously you've got Khabib with the Sambo background, and you got Usman. Who wins that if Khabib moves up? Because Usman's an exceptionally good traditional, both offensive and defensive wrestler.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Usman. Yeah. He's massive. The dude's huge.
Yeah, he's massive.
He's huge. And Khabib I don't think Khabib is cutting like a huge amount of weight to make 155. So I think if he goes up to 70, he gets fucking bodied.
Well, the thing is, though, he's had serious issues with his weight cutting it to 155. So he's a big 155.
Wasn't that once?
From like 200 or 210, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Usman's an animal, but yeah, it's more traditional. Just kind of, he's very, very clean traditional wrestler, whereas Khabib can take you down by ragdolling you. So it's a different it's an interesting stylistic matchup. I
would take Usman. I think Khabib's too small. I don't think he has a frame. I think Usman's cutting from, I think he's cutting from a long way above where Khabib is cutting from.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like Cerrone. You know what I mean? Going to 170. I think if Khabib went up, Usman will fucking body him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cerrone, who you got him against Pettis in the rematch? That's a fucking great fight.
The Cowboy's my boy. Yeah, I'm gonna take Cowboy. Again, I don't know. Pettis I think has been on a weird little down slump over the last while. Cerrone, I think is kind of he's kind of a journeyman in a way. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be a champion at this stage.
Yeah, no.
Just too good for a lot of people to beat. You know what I mean? Like, he's solid. He's like a solid number 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People be able to get through him. A lot of people who maybe might be able to beat the champion, they might not be able to get through Cerrone. But I think Cerrone's going to batter, Pettis easy.
I hope so. So here's a very, very interesting stat that I looked at the other day. So obviously, Pettis has lost a lot as of late, and then he goes and he fucking knocks Wonderboy Thompson out in ridiculous fashion. But he is 9-9 in his last 18. Like Anthony Pettis.
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
It's absurd though. 9-9, Pettis was he was the pinnacle of the sport at one point.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I was only watching that. I watched that Benson Henderson fight recently enough.
Yeah.
The fucking Showtime kick.
Yeah.
And he was unstoppable back then. People were like, this fucking dude. I don't know, just whatever happened, he just fucking had a slide, man.
I think that's how much the sport has evolved, though. Really, it goes to show you, somebody like Pettis, exactly what you said. Everyone thought the guy was never going to lose the fight, and then, he's now somebody that can't win 3 fights in a row, or 2 fights in a row, even.
Yeah.
So
I'd be very surprised if he beats Cerrone, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Cerrone's striking is just. Pettis has good kicks, but I think Cerrone's striking is much more solid overall,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's a very I think it's a very close fight. I think Pettis is pretty tough though. So I'm going either way. Like I'm going either way with it because obviously like if Pettis starts quickly,
black belts. If it goes to the ground,
that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's unreal though. Like you raise a good point there.
Triangle finishes, I think.
Yeah. But this is what I mean. Like the amount of strikers that are in the UFC that have black belts in jiu-jitsu, and it never gets talked about because they just want to throw it out. It's fucking mental. Like the elite level, ground specialists, and it doesn't really even get mentioned because they want to stand and trade. It's unreal.
Yep.
Danny, I wanted to dive in and get a grappling kind of an advice question, and if I could, we very briefly mentioned this off air. Long weekend coming up. I'm trying to get I guess some watching done, some catching up done. Can you recommend any recent, well maybe not too recent with everything locked down, but any kind of old grappling shows, any watchbacks? I know there's a lot on Fight Pass. Is there anything particular you've seen that you could recommend to me or anyone else that's interested in picking
up? Just entertaining shows.
Yeah, just I suppose just straight. I typically try on Fight Pass. I'd end up watching fight after fight after fight. I wouldn't necessarily dive into the gist first, but if I was there or if anyone else was there, where would I start? Where's the best place to go?
Yeah, well, Fight Pass is great. There's a lot of EBI. All the EBIs are on Fight Pass.
Yeah. Eddie Bravo Invitational.
Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds is on that as well. So, there must be like fucking 12 or 15 of those shows at the moment. EBI between EBIs and combat jiu-jitsu stuff. Once you're past that, then there's a lot of Polaris stuff on Fight Pass as well. Polaris is a great show, and then Submission Underground as well. There was a show on just at the weekend there. So
was there? There's a few still going ahead.
Submission Underground is, I think, it's in like a closed arena, so they just have like the camera crew and the fighters,
and the competitors.
The commentators are out of the room. I think it's only Chael Sonnen actually, but
right, okay. Oh, right, he's in a separate location or in a room or something. Like that.
Yeah. He's got like a headset and shit on.
Jesus,
it's like a fireside chat, Oh, hey.
It's fucking mad times, isn't it? Absolutely mad times.
Yeah. I'm gonna get on some EBI, some Eddie Bravo Invitational stuff this weekend, anyway. But
awesome shit, yeah. There's an Irish guy fought a few years ago, Dara O'Connell, on one of the EBI. I can't remember which one it was. It might be EBI 3. That's just a guess.
Okay.
I don't know if do you know Dara?
I know the name. Yeah. So
he's pretty famous. He's a great. If you're interested in jiu-jitsu, he's got some great fucking highlight shit. But he's awesome. Yeah, he had a great run on EBI. He's probably like one of the, at the moment anyway, he's probably like the best kind of competitive Irish black belt.
All right, okay, I see.
Yeah, he's amazing. Great coach. He runs East Coast.
Okay, right, okay. Yeah. And he's still competitively grappling away, yeah. I on that.
I think he kind of retired, but I think he's kind of back on the scene again, Whenever this comes back up. He retired last year, but I think he's back on the scene again this year,
Yeah.
But do you know that chick, Fionn Davies?
Yes.
Yeah. So Tara's a coach. She trains out in EBI or in East Coast with him.
Right. Okay. Yeah. She's incredible. She's a serious little phenom.
Oh, she's a beast. Yeah. Savage.
Yeah.
Tiny as well. She's only like 60 kilos. She's like fucking dudes up.
And she'd absolutely kill you. Yeah. There's a few of them, right?
As well. She used to. She was on the fucking. I can't remember, but basically professional judo for a long time. So she's a fucking tank. I wouldn't stand her.
You never know, right? This tiny little girl, you're walking down the street, you have absolutely no idea. She'd absolutely bury you. You know what I mean? No problem to her.
Sure, yeah.
Unreal. That's I always what was it? Was the first Khabib and Tony fight that got cancelled in New York with the injury to Tony. And the night before, Joanna and Rose Namajunas were fighting on that. And the night before, myself and my, at the time, fiance went down to like our regular spot, and most of the fight card were in this place called Rocco's Tacos in Brooklyn. And I'm walking along and I see fucking Joanna Jędrzejczyk just strolling along, and I stop and get a picture with her. Like, she's cool as fuck, and she stood next to me, and she's like up to like here. And I'm just thinking the entire time, I'm like, this woman is a foot shorter than me, and she would beat the living fuck out of me. Like, the entire time. That's the only thing I could think about. It's absolutely mental. Like, these 5'5", 5'6" women that could beat the shit out of most men on the planet.
Neil's a massive Joanna Jędrzejczyk fan ever since he met her. He keeps scoring all her fights.
It was long before that. He just gives me a hard time over it. But anyway, Danny, in terms of 10 Planet and stuff, like, how often do you interact with Eddie Bravo?
Not too much, honestly. I wouldn't say much of him at all. So most of our interaction is done through Jeremy. So Jeremy's my coach.
Yep.
So, like in terms of the 10 Planet stuff, like Jeremy's who I interact with. Does that make sense? So then Eddie is like Jeremy's coach. So that's kind of how the stuff works.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, Jeremy trains with Tony Ferguson, and he's a second degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. So Danny's been rolling with some seriously good competition. And you said that's like 2-3 times a year or something that he comes out to Dublin, Jeremy?
Yeah, so obviously he's got his own gym in California, so he spends most of his time in California. But then he'll come over to Europe. So Jeremy is like head coach with 10 Planet Amsterdam, and then with us in 10 Planet Dublin as well, So we try, if he's over here in Dublin, so last year we did a camp in Dublin, and Jeremy spent a bit of time in Amsterdam. And then last year as well, we had the camp in Amsterdam, and then Jeremy came over and spent a little bit of time in Dublin as well, So we try and get him whenever he's in Europe, nail him down into the to get him into the kind of individual gyms, But obviously, like, California is a fucking, the flights are crazy long. Jeremy's got a lot of stuff on in the meantime, So it's often hard for us to kind of get him into. Just to arrange a schedule so it's like good for him and it's good for us at the same time,
Yeah. Have they brought you out to? Sorry, Danny, go ahead. You say that again.
I was just saying, any chance we get, we try and get him over when he's available.
Yeah. Do they bring you out there at all? Have you gone out there to see what the gym's like in California?
No, my plan was to get over this year. So.
Fuck.
I don't know if that's going ahead now. So. I was going to try and get out in December and just spend like a week or 10 days. And so Jeremy's only about 45 minutes drive away from 10 Planet headquarters, So I was going to try and get in like 3 days training, 4 days training, and then just like maybe drop into headquarters for a few days as well and see how that went. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the country goes.
Well, hopefully the plans aren't completely derailed anyway. Like, we can get the gyms open as quick as we can. I suppose they're not fully shut down, but in America at least there's still some training going on. But hopefully we can crack the doors open soon. But Danny, anyway, 10 Planet is North Strand, East Wall. Is that just
North Strand? Yeah, 10 Planet.
We can get it to. Obviously, we're trying to get it open as soon as we can.
We'll see. However, whatever Leo Varadkar tells us, that's what we'll do.
That's true. We'll do what we're told, like everyone else. We'll be Danny. We'll be sure and tag all of 10 Planet's Instagram and stuff on all the posts. Really appreciate you coming on, man. Good to chat.
Yeah, Danny, good to chat with you. Thanks for getting me on the whiskey.
Cheers.
Have a good night, man. Thanks for joining.
Cheers, Danny, man. Take it easy. Peace. Get it down, yeah.
Off the bed.
See you, Pat.
Am I hanging over? Are you?
I think I think it's gonna. Oh, yeah, I can remove you. Go on.
I get it.
Good night, Danny.
Get to bed. Cheers, Danny. Go on. Yeah.
Fucking hero.
Yeah, absolute legend. You know, he's that's the type of people that we want to be chatting with regularly. You know, somebody who's training with a guy. Unfortunately, we were actually supposed to have Jeremy on tonight. He, I believe, is currently training with Tony Ferguson. So Danny has trained with Jeremy before, multiple times. So it goes to show you how I suppose the level that he's at personally, because you don't roll with black belts at that unless you're very, very good. So Danny is obviously very, very good himself. And that's the sort of person that we want to be chatting with regularly. So appreciate his time, and for, to 10 Planet, obviously big shout out to them. Quality to have him on. But anyway, what's going on, you fat fuck?
Well, what's going on? What's going on? I mean, there's fuck all that's gone on since I last spoke to you, bar some fighting news. Is there anything really that's gone on since I spoke to you last? No,
I don't think not that we've really chatted about, but I think I mean, it was.
I do have a bone to pick with you.
What's this now?
So you text me during the week, and you specifically said that you don't want to talk about politics on this podcast.
What politics did I talk about?
So what I want to know is, right? So what I want to know is, in the time, because the Neil Forster that lived in Ireland would have told whoever has muzzled him where to go, right? So someone has swooped in and said something to you and muzzled you and put fear on you, right? Neil Forster, who lived in Ireland, would have talked all the politics he wants. Who's after muzzling the unmuzzleable man in the middle of America? That's what I want an answer for, and I want one right now. What do you not want to talk about? Because that's what we're going to talk about right now. You fucking hairy prick.
I have a couple of thoughts on that, right? So I do not know enough about American politics. I just don't, right? I know it at a very
American politics, you know.
American politics, yes. I know it at a very, very surface. Well, to be honest, no. Politics as a whole, right? And I've got to the point in my life where I've started to realize that when you have a big mouth and you talk about things that you're not very, very well educated on, you just look like a fucking dumbass. So that's why I've been trying to avoid that as much as possible. As we've already been told, I was incorrect with the conversation. So
I don't remember what we were talking about. Couldn't care.
Yeah, well, there you go. Anyway, something we haven't talked about, right? And this is bizarre to me, right? I cannot understand this. I've been seeing a lot of people picking Gaethje like comfortably over Tony, like saying it's going to be a first round knockout, second round knockout. And I can't wrap my head around it. I really can't. Like
I can't wrap my head around people saying it'll be comfortable, but I can definitely get my head around saying it'll be first or second round if Gaethje wins.
Yes, but that's a big if, right?
I don't think it's that big of an if. I think it's about 60-40 Tony because of Gaethje's power.
I agree. Like I'm 100% with that though, right? I'm completely.
It's an X factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I by no means am I saying here that Gaethje can't knock Tony out. Of course he can. Like Gaethje can fucking knock anyone out. My whole point here is like that is
Tony gets hit. Tony gets hit. As much as I don't want him to ever get hit, he gets hit.
Tony gets hit, right? Has he ever seemed bothered by getting hit? He gets dropped and then he gets out of it and recovers and wins. Like that's,
Yeah, but he gets dropped.
Doesn't matter.
He's getting older. He's getting hit more. He's getting dropped more. Eventually,
tell me one time though that Tony has been dropped, right? Landed flat in his back, and somebody was able to get on top of him and ground a pound immediately on his back. It hasn't happened.
No,
it hasn't happened.
No,
this is what I mean. So people are talking about like Tony's not getting knocked out cold. Like I cannot see that happening. And I'm telling you, when Tony hits the mat, if it's on his back, he will find some way to scramble out of that position. Like Justin could do it.
I'm inclined to agree with everything you're saying, but if anyone's going to put Tony out cold, it's Justin Gaethje. He has 18 KOs and 19 wins.
Well, I think if anyone's
all of them in the first 2 rounds.
I think if anyone puts Tony out, it's McGregor, not Justin. But I know what you're saying.
Justin Gaethje technically and statistically has more power and a higher knockout and finish ratio than Conor McGregor. I'm almost certain.
Yeah, no, and I'm pretty sure you're.
Or they're pretty much the same. right? It's
I think. I also think
McGregor also has a very good chance of hitting him. But if he doesn't hit him, he suffers the same fate as everyone else. Tony fucking Ferguson.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I mean, though. You know, like if I don't know. I've gone so many ways with this fight. I really have because like I can see Gaethje knocking him out. I can not out cold. I could see him getting Tony into a position and maybe having a little bit of a controversial kind of stoppage, where Tony's clearly trying to work his way out. What are you sharing with me here? I'm intrigued now. You've got me. You've got me interested.
Just the actual stats on the fight itself while you're talking about it. Go on ahead, man. Good.
Look at those records, man. That's fucking insane, isn't it?
Yeah. Both 5'11".
Big reach advantage from Tony. That's something I didn't actually expect.
Yeah. KO, TKO 85% of the time.
Yeah.
God damn it, Justin Gaethje, you're a violent man. Submission. He has a submission win. 10% decision. Yeah. Look at that. There's a well-rounded mixed martial artist.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. And like the decisions that he's won as well, he's won comfortably. Like there's never been anything controversial about Tony Ferguson winning.
Yeah, the significant stats are fucking terrifying. Justin Gaethje absorbs 10.23 significant strikes per minute.
But this is exactly what I mean. So like, on the other hand, you've got like he can't withstand that for 5 rounds from Tony. Like it's not like Tony has no hand power. You know what I mean? Like, and he's a pressure fighter who throws a huge amount of significant strikes per minute. So or per round. So you've like this has got to balance out. Like everyone keeps forgetting about how much Gaethje gets hit. And like that's a big factor. Like Tony gets hit. Tony also throws a ridiculous amount of strikes per round, and like you can make the same case for for the likes of Holloway and Poirier as well. They both boys get hit, but their output far outweighs how many times they get hit. So this is what I'm saying. Like it baffles me that people are so sure on Justin Gaethje beating a man who's on a 12-fight win streak. I just can't understand it. I can't understand.
Yeah.
Like if Tony was on a 3-fight win streak and, even if he had maybe 1 or 2 losses in between, I could maybe make an argument for, Tony doesn't look good here. But Tony has found a way to win in very, very uncomfortable positions. And I think Gaethje will put him in uncomfortable positions, but he will also, he'll weather that storm, I think.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fucking bloodbath. And we'll do a pre UFC 249 podcast next week to go through the full fight card or the full the main fights, and then I suppose the odds as well. So if any betting individuals are giving this a listen, there is a lot of value in MMA. Now you might only get one valuable bet once every 2 weeks, or it could be once every 3 cards that you get a fight that there's some genuine value in. But there is genuine value, and we'll be going through and kind of breaking down the fight and sharing any info we have. So the gamblers amongst us can hopefully make a couple of extra bob. But yeah, the card itself is stacking up. It's been outrageous. I think strangely I'm kind of as excited for Cejudo Dominic Cruz.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I actually don't think there's anything. I don't think there's actually anything strange about that though, because there's so many what if factors in that fight. Like the first one is Cejudo, and I'm actually pretty happy to see this. Like most people are very much taking Cejudo very seriously now. They all know how good he is now. It's like doesn't matter that he's a fucking clown and he's so cringy. Like, doesn't matter about that. Like, the guy is as legit as it gets, And I think if he beats Cruz, like, he's climbing up to top 5 and the best of all time, really. And then if he goes on to defend after that, like, he's without a doubt one of the best ever in any division in the UFC.
See, that's the thing, right? People are giving out about this, about Cruz getting the fight, but I don't think we can say the same thing if Cejudo beats an Aljamain Sterling. Next weekend. Yeah. He's climbing up the pound for pound rankings. He's not really, right? With a win over an Aljamain Sterling or a Marlon Moraes or anyone like that. But if he smashes Aldo or if he smashes Cruz,
yeah,
other pound for pound kind of greats, historical greats, he then does kind of progress on that list. So
yeah. I
that
mean,
kind of counter argues the, well, why are we giving Dom this fight? You know, that kind of way. So
yeah,
surely
yeah.
Dominic could be more deserving of the fight than based on overall merit as opposed to current contender status. You know, that kind of way. It's a bit of
Yeah, I
a
mean,
tricky one.
it's a very good point, because I agree with you. At the same time, it's like, why do we have rankings? Why do we have divisions if everything is based off of a name? You know what I mean? Because, this is the exact same thing with like if McGregor comes back and it's like, the likes of Aljo. I'm a big fan of Aljo, PDN. Like, these guys are they're animals. And well, I wouldn't call Aljo an animal. I think Aljo is an incredibly good fighter, but I think he's going to outpoint you, whereas Yan's an animal. Like Yan is somebody who poses a real threat to Cejudo, and he's unlikable in the sense that his English isn't very good, and that's about it. His fighting style is fucking ridiculous. Like very few people. I actually got into a conversation on Twitter today with a couple of people, and they were talking about how the Yan and Faber fight isn't talked about that much. And I think the main thing for me anyway is because Faber is very much a fan favorite, and nobody wanted to see him get fucking destroyed like that. And it's late in his career, but Yan destroyed Faber, like destroyed him, and I think if it's Aljo or if it's I would prefer Yan in that scenario.
Yeah.
But you can like picture one of us fighting professionally, right? Obviously never gonna happen, but
Definitely
like
me,
picture one of us and we're like, I'm on a 6-fight win streak.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
Fuck's sake. This is exactly what I'm talking about, though. Right? Say I'm coming in off a 6-fight win streak, and some guy who hasn't fought in 3 years fights ahead of me because he was once one of the best of all time. That I would be like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, what's the point of me fighting if I'm not going to get a title shot?
But then if you were one of the best of all time, and some nobody with a 6-fight win streak got the fight ahead of you, you'd be like, oh, what the fuck is this about? You know what I mean? So it just depends on what side of the fence you're kind of sitting on. I suppose I think the contender has more of a rightful case to complain, but you can make the other counter argument. Jeremy's just texting there. He's just wrapped up training, I think. So yeah, a little bit late. So sorry we missed you, Jeremy. We'll get your book back in at some point. We'll see. Maybe you're free at some point next week. We'll try and pin you, but no worries. With the schedule of a second degree 10 planet black belt that's involved in a high level potential UFC champions training camp. Transatlantic MMA is not exactly atop the agenda this. So
I hope he at least got some footage of it. I'd be interested in seeing that. Like he's it's been look, unfortunately, obviously we had this kind of lined up, and we actually, with the different time differences, I'm in New York, Ben and Danny are in Dublin, and Jeremy's in California, so it was a lot to try and kind of coordinate. So,
especially on a weekday.
Say again?
Especially on a weekday.
Yeah, exactly. So, unfortunately, timing just wasn't right today, but we've been chatting with.
To be honest, I think you might have scared him away with that fucking jumper you've got on me.
It's the comfiest jumper I've ever had in my life.
Can you just give me a look at this thing? What is it? Oh, you live in New York, bro, do you? You fucking prick.
Represent. Fuck's sake, yeah. I took my Yankees hat off as well.
I know. I was hoping you'd leave that bitch on. I could nail you worse.
Oh fuck!
What size is that jumper?
What'd you say?
What size is that jumper? It looks
it's a big one. This was specifically in order because I was like, fuck, like all the like comfy hoodies that I had, they're not really comfy because they're not loose,
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I've got to get like a nice big fucking thing that I can lounge around in, This will probably fit nice and tightly on you though, with those fucking man titties you got going on.
Good work.
Oh fuck. But yeah, anyway, back to my original point, like it's been very, very cool. Just like, we got Jeremy and Danny in an Instagram group and we're chatting shit with them, and we get to see a little bit more about both Jeremy's personality, Danny's personality, and like I mean, that was the first time I've chatted with Danny. I know Ben knows Danny, but like Danny seems like somebody I'd smash a number of drinks with on a Friday, Saturday night after work, you know. So it's good to be chatting with very, very knowledgeable people that are also very cool guys, you know.
Yeah, exactly, and to get their take on the fights, you know, like me and you've been chatting fights for 6 or 7 years now, you know, that kind of way. So I kind of, not that I know what your thoughts are in a fight, but I know what fighters you like and what fighters you don't like. You know, like someone that's a high level grappler will just see MMA from a completely different view.
Well, exactly. I mean, Danny's first thing, you know, it wasn't, you know, when we asked him about like what he was thinking in terms of the fights, didn't even mention Tony Ogechi. He went into Oleinik and Verdum, you know, because that's his world, you know. And look, somebody, I mean, you got me hooked on the sport, like, you know, 7 or 8 years ago, whatever it is now. But you know, jiu-jitsu, having just fucked around with you, like it's so much fun. And to see that chess match unfold of, you know, particularly a heavyweight, you know, and it's not spoken about that much, but you know, heavyweight is like, it's the expectation of it's going to be a first or second round knockout. It's probably not going to be that good to watch. You know, it's not going to be very technical, but we've got two of the most technical ground game specialists, you know, ever in the history of the sport competing against each other. So I'm very excited for that too. Like, I'm very, very excited to see that fight, and I hope to God it goes to the ground.
Yeah, I'm also as excited about Ngannou and Rosenstruck. Again, I know we're going to get into all these next week, so I don't want to harp on about it, but that is also an underdog value fight. Rosenstruck is a top world-class kickboxer, and everyone's just talking about Ngannou because he's Ngannou and he's known. But Rosenstruck is a serious live dog there, and he could play spoiler. Like, would you be surprised if Rosenstruck walks out there and KOs Ngannou in the second or something, and then he's now the third-ranked contender? No, you can see that happen, right? And then Ngannou drops down to like 6. You know,
I mean,
you wouldn't be shocked.
Like, kind of. I think we go very, very different ways on this, and I've seen, like, and not to discredit Rosenstruck whatsoever, I'm more basing it off of, you know, Ngannou had a shot against Overeem and he almost killed the man, you know, and Rosenstruck had a good opportunity. And, you know, you're talking about the kickboxing, and of course, you know, not to in any way take away from how good he is. It's more, I just don't understand how he's such a good kickboxer and didn't in any way he didn't showcase that at all against Overeem, you know. And he got, you know, he won the fight, you know, he knocked Overeem out, but at the same time, Overeem was clearly winning that fight, and he completely outclassed him in that fight. So I think, you know, he also looked hittable too. Looked hittable, and if Ngannou hits you, you go out. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, this is true. I definitely favour Ngannou, but I just think he's a live dog. He's definitely a live dog. Like Gaethje is a live dog, big time. And I think Dom is a live dog. Nobody's given Dominic any. There's a couple of fights in this card that there's some value in some upsets. We'll see, but
well, I think you know a lot. You know, and this one, I'm very happy in the sense that Cejudo is getting the recognition that he deserves, because despite me despising the guy personality-wise, like, this is one of the most accomplished men in the sport of MMA, like, you know, ever. And you know, putting the cringe aside, he's brilliant. Like, he's on an incredible run. You know, he's beaten DJ, TJ, and then you are potentially looking at Mighty Mouse, TJ Dillashaw, and Cruz. You know, in what is it, 3?
Martin Moraes as well. Like, no Martin Moraes hasn't the name, but
that's what I mean though. Like, I'm not even mentioning Moraes, who's also a very, very, very good fucking fighter, because of, you know, the other 3 that he could potentially beat. So, you know, in terms of, you know, pound for pound rankings, like, having potentially beaten those 3 is insane. But yeah, I mean, Cruz is probably the toughest test because of the length, because of the reach difference, because of his fight IQ. You know, that if anyone's going to beat Cejudo, particularly right now, it's probably Cruz. So, you know, I'm fine with the fight. I'm a little bit annoyed about it because I'm a big fan of Aljo and because I'm a big fan of Yan. But at the same time, you can make somewhat of a case. You know, you can make a case for Cruz, particularly as it's been injury. You know, it hasn't been a case of him not wanting to fight. He's been injured all the time,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's also another way of looking at it. I think with the likes of McGregor, for example, when he came back, if he got an immediate title shot, it's like, what the fuck? You just left the sport. You weren't hurt. You weren't doing anything. It's like you just didn't want to fight. With Cruz, I would imagine, he's wanted to fight, and he's still been extremely active. He's still doing his commentary. His commentary is weird, actually. Have you noticed that? Like, sometimes he's brilliant, and then other times it's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, how is this coming from one of the best fighters ever? It's strange.
I haven't paid attention to it, but if you have an example of a fight or something, do please send it over.
I definitely will. So I don't have anything off the top of my head right now, but I know there's been times where I'm listening to it, and he'll break something down in such a technical manner, and I'm like, that was unreal. Like, I feel like I've learned something. And then there's other times where I'm just like, what? It was the Khabib and McGregor fight, and Khabib was mauling McGregor, and it wasn't even like debatable what was going on. And Cruz is like, yeah, see, if Khabib doesn't change this, he's gonna wear himself out. And it was like, he's got full mount and he's smashing his face in. Like, this is what Khabib does. He's not gonna tire himself out. Like, he's dominant. Like Cruz, what?
Tom is parking the fucking microphone for next weekend anyway, because he would have been.
Yeah.
I think he was due to commentate this event. This is another like little interesting twist. And then he was like training, like to get back in shape to have our fight soon, but not fucking 2-3 weeks soon. Soon as in like I think June, July. So he's fast tracking something serious. But at least he was in, like, not in fight camp, but in like in the gym training, knowing that there's a fight within a couple of months, that kind of way. So one thing that was announced in the world of MMA since we last spoke was the event on the 13th and the event on the 16th. So we've we've kind of and is it the 21st or 24th? Sorry, that's
honestly, I don't even know what date it is today, and I'm looking at a calendar. That's how fucked up I am.
Lockdown life.
Yeah,
you drank one whiskey, mate.
Man, I honestly asked Sam a couple of days ago. I was like, honestly, what are we in April? Is it April? Is that what month we're in? I just had no idea. Like, I had no fucking clue what was going on.
It was May. It was May there about an hour ago.
Yeah, for you, it's not quite May for me yet.
Yeah. So so sorry. The fights they're not. I mean, for me, they're the 8th. The 5th they're not. They're the night of the 8th. They're the morning, the 9th. So it's Saturday, Sunday morning, technically, the 10th, or the night of the 9th, the 16th, the 13th, and the 23rd as well.
Yeah,
that's now been confirmed since as well. Now I don't know who's fighting there, but that's, I think, confirmed. But that's not in Florida. So the first 3, there's a week of flights in Florida, and then there's another event, but that's not in Florida. But it's also not confirmed to be on Fight Island either. So I don't know where
after 249, they're all fight nights, right? There's no. Yeah.
For a little while, I think there'll be 3 or 4 fight nights. The next pay-per-view after 249, like UFC 250, isn't booked anywhere. That's not. I don't think that's on the schedule. I'll have a look and see what's actually on the UFC schedule. But I think officially it's literally just the full UFC 249 card, the main event for the 13th, which is Glover and Anthony Smith, and then the main event for the 16th, is it, which is Overeem and Big Ticket.
Walter Harris, right?
Yeah, I don't even think there's no fights actually announced for either of those cards.
Yeah, they've just kind of announced a date, right?
Yeah, just the main. Yeah. So schedule's a bit fucked at the moment. Thank you, Corona. But as is everything else, like in a normal world, we'd have done I say in a normal world, we'd have done 4 podcasts now, and we'd have been previewing and reviewing fights. But in a normal world, we probably wouldn't have done a podcast. That's the truth of it. So we, here we are. But when we get back to kind of normalcy, as far as the UFC schedule goes, we'll have, probably a fight every week, bar maybe 1 week between here and Christmas. So we'll be chatting fights. We'll be hopefully continuing to bring the guests on. and some decent people to preview and look back on fights with us as well. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks, but at least MMA is coming back in our lives. You know, like I know a lot of football fans and like rugby fans and Gav fans and stuff. They just want sport.
There's no hope. There's no hope of that coming back. One thing I will say, my bud upstate that I was telling you about, upstate New York, he mentioned that golf courses are starting to open up again. He's a big golfer. Yeah, that makes sense. I personally, I'm annoyed. I'm not even a huge golf fan. I like golf. I love playing golf, but you know, in terms of watching it, like I couldn't care less. But at the same time, like that is like one of the sports that is so easy to social distance properly. You know, you
don't even like, even if you're playing with people, you don't even need to be near them. You can be 100 feet away from them and play with them.
I mean, when you tee off, right, you're on a box by yourself. You know, yeah, exactly. And like you then switch. So like the social interaction is obviously a very, very nice thing to have during a quarantine, and you can do that safely while not taking the piss. So that's one sport where I was just like, hold on, they could have done this. You know, professional golfers could have been playing no problem. Like that could have been on every single week with no problems whatsoever. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but they've made like a cup thing. So on the flag, there's like a little kickstand, right? So you kick this thing and it shoots the ball up, right? And then you literally just pick the ball up. That's it. You know, like it's so straightforward, and that would be the only thing that you could be touching that could potentially infect somebody else. You know, all the clubhouses had been like shut down. You paid online. You obviously bring your own clubs. There was no they weren't using any of the carts, so you know, you were just walking. I mean, the last time we played golf together, we would walk anyway, and from memory, we were hacking it all over the place, so we definitely weren't anywhere near to each other. So, you know, that was like one sport I was just like, this could easily be played right now. MMA was probably the last sport, just because of the nature.
Tennis, you can do tennis.
Tennis
Can be done easily enough.
I mean, even cricket. You know, cricket's
probably
cricket you could play. I think like I said, even bowling. You know, you could probably play bowling, no problem. But this is what I mean, you know, and like
the likes of rugby, football, basketball, NFL.
That's out. It's out, you know, and like you got to acknowledge that. But I think, you know, the lack of common sense with a lot of this, you know, and this is where like the panic and fear sets in, is like when this shit all gets cancelled for, you know, and again, it's like it's cancelled for good reason. You know, there's obviously reasons why the government is putting this shit in place, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, you know, there's still people sitting at home going fucking crazy, and you can still give us liberties to some things that are not going to harm people, you know. And like on a golf course, for example, if somebody has fucking coronavirus, it's going to be one person. You know what I mean? They're not gonna have a wide, you know, kind of spread ratio if they come in contact with somebody. In basketball, if you're sweating on a court and you go for a rebound and you're breathing in 3 other people's face, you know,
everyone on the ball, breathing on the ball.
Exactly. It's like using your hands. But this is what I mean. So like, I feel like they've kind of missed the mark with that. And, you know, a lot of these sports, they've lost the kind of opportunity to gain worldwide exposure because of it. So anyway, I have not given him props probably ever in my life, but thank you, Dana White, for getting this together and
oh, that makes me happy.
I knew it would. How erect is your penis right now?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Dana White. We could certainly I mean, you could describe it that way if you're so, you know.
Well, I reckon your forehead has receded again since last week, so you're not far off looking like him.
Soon enough, I'll tell you. If my bank account looks like a fraction of his, I'll be fucking. Give me 1/8. No, I'd take 1% of Dana White's bankroll right now to never have hair again.
What do you reckon? What's he worth?
Oh, it's like 580 million or something. Yeah. So 1% of the swat.
That's 5.8 million.
Yeah, that'll do. So you can have my hair for 5.8 million. That's the price.
I was gonna say
conversation took an odd turn. Oh, Dana.
I was gonna say 10%, but fuck me, that's 58 million. Like that's you're good for life, you know.
5.8, you're good for life, man. You 5.8 in
Nah,
cash.
not in America. Not in America, you're not.
Probably not. Well, probably certain parts of America, not in the middle. Not in the middle of
Yeah,
Europe.
you know that's definitely. But at the same time, though, like everywhere in America, college tuition is just bonkers. You know, like college tuition.
But if you had 5.8 million, what are you going to college for, mate? Put your fee up.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you still got to put your kids through college. And
Oh yeah,
like if
you having kids, yeah? Huh?
no, not yet. But if you have 3 or 4 kids, you're looking at probably like $1 million.
Yeah. Fuck.
Which is just
All that.
absurd. It's absurd.
I remember, man. I remember. Sure, I lived in Berkeley for a little while and got to know a lot of the guys that were kind of there over the summer, and they were all underneath this fucking cloud of student debt that they were going to emerge into once they graduated. Like they knew it was waiting for them. Like it's fucking bananas, man. But
well, I told my boy Ryan Judge. Shout out. He doesn't have a clue about MMA, but he's tuning in every week. He pays currently $1,700 a month for student loans.
how much? Sorry, how much?
$1,700
month. Yeah, that's like considerably more than my mortgage.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's
considerably
absurd.
more. Yeah,
it's absurd. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, big shout out to Danny for coming on earlier on, and to Ten Planet, everyone across the across all of them. We're big fans of everything Ten Planet. So big shout out to them. And Danny, thanks again for your time. Hoping to have Jeremy on soon, hopefully together. But thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you again next week.
Yep, see you everyone, and hopefully we won't see Neil's horrendous fucking hoodie next week. Sorry about that.